It is a universal truth that a solution exists for every challenge we face, yet the unfortunate paradox is that the majority of individuals fail to engage in actual problem solving. Instead of taking decisive action, they become trapped in a debilitating cycle where they worry obsessively, succumb to fear, and actively avoid confronting the core issue. We must fundamentally shift our perspective. A difficulty is not an event meant to shatter you, rather, a problem is a catalyst for personal evolution, arriving specifically to forge you into a person who is stronger, wiser, and intellectually sharper than you were previously. Life's journey is characterized by relentless testing, constant challenging, and the strategic placement of obstacles directly in your path. However, the true measure of strength lies not in avoiding adversity, but in how we respond to it. Truly strong individuals are not those who are problem-free, they are the ones who have mastered the art of facing every hurdle calmly and resolving it with strategic intelligence. This leads us to a crucial commitment. When a challenge materializes, our response must never be the helpless question, "Why me?" Instead, we must declare with resolute conviction, "I will handle this. I will solve this." A pathway forward always exists, and your task is simply to find it, one deliberate step at a time. The first essential strategy begins with cultivating calmness and clarity of thought. When a problem strikes, the standard human reaction is an immediate surge of panic or anger. This emotional hijacking causes cognitive shutdown, the mind clouds over, the heart races, and we default to visualizing the worst possible outcome. While this initial stress response is biologically normal, it is fundamentally counterproductive. A mind overwhelmed by stress is incapable of generating innovative solutions, whereas a mind that remains composed can tackle virtually anything. Therefore, the inaugural step in managing any difficulty is profound in its simplicity: stay calm. Immediately pause, take a slow, deep breath, consciously relax your physical tension, and reinforce your self-control by affirming, "I am in control, I will solve this." Maintaining composure allows your brain to shift into an analytical mode, enabling a clearer assessment of the situation, revealing potential options, and unlocking solutions. Remember this immutable rule of emotional intelligence: emotions exponentially inflate problems, while calmness systematically diminishes them. Hence, when a challenge appears, resist the urge to react swiftly. Implement a deliberate pause, breathe deeply, engage in slow, critical thinking, and only then determine your next course of action. This single, disciplined habit has the power to permanently transform your approach to all future adversities. Moving past the initial emotional response, the second crucial technique involves deconstructing the problem into manageable steps. When confronted with complexity, the human mind tends to perceive the issue as a single, overwhelming mountain. We internalize feelings of inadequacy, thinking, "This is too big, too hard, impossible," which results in immediate paralysis. This feeling of being stuck is less about the problem's inherent difficulty and more about the misguided attempt to find one single, instant solution for the entire dilemma. A large, consolidated problem feels psychologically heavy, confusing, and makes us feel profoundly powerless. The liberating truth, however, is that no major problem is solved with one equally major action. Every complex challenge can, and must, be conquered by breaking it down into a sequence of small, attainable steps. The efficacy of this small step approach mirrors climbing a staircase: you ascend one step at a time, you do not leap to the top. By dividing the problem into smaller components, you achieve three significant outcomes: your mind feels lighter and less burdened, you gain visible progress faster, and you build cumulative confidence with every task completed. This strategic thinking changes your focus from the paralyzing question, "How can I solve everything at once?" to the empowering question, "What is the very first, smallest, most concrete thing I can do right now?" This pivots your energy instantly from fear into constructive action. Furthermore, a vital initial component of this breakdown strategy is to externalize the problem by writing it down. A problem often grows in size and terror simply because it remains an unstructured, looping fear inside your head, leading to endless worry and repeated panic. Putting the problem on paper immediately transforms it from an amorphous fear into a concrete object that can be analyzed, dissected, and ultimately, resolved. This final section details the specific, actionable techniques for structuring and executing the solution phase, ensuring the momentum generated by initial calm thought is sustained through completion. The first practical move, as part of the externalization process, is to take a piece of paper or open a note-taking app on your phone and clearly document the problem. This act is essential for moving the challenge out of the subjective, panic-inducing space of your mind and into an objective, manageable format. Once externalized, engage in precise self-questioning. What is the exact nature of this problem? What are the root causes or reasons this is occurring, and most critically, what elements of this situation are genuinely within my control right now? The physical act of writing clarifies the fuzzy edges of anxiety, and this newfound clarity is the source of actionable power. Following documentation, the process requires you to break the challenge into its constituent parts. This means taking the large, intimidating objective like I must significantly improve my English proficiency and dissecting it into small, manageable tasks. A. Learn 5 new vocabulary words daily. B. Watch 1 short English language video. C. Dedicate 10 minutes to conversational practice. And D. Read 1 page from an English book. Suddenly, the overwhelming goal transforms into a simple, daily checklist. This principle applies across all life domains: career development, financial difficulties, academic goals, emotional regulation, or family issues. The fundamental equation for success is, small steps equals easy to start equals easy to continue equals guaranteed success. Once the list is established, the focus must become intensely narrow. Concentrate on one step at a time. It is crucial not to waste mental energy attempting to solve the 10th step while still executing the first. Give yourself this simple instruction: my only requirement is to successfully complete this single, next small step. Upon finishing one task, immediately shift your focus to the next. This methodical, sequential approach ensures relentless forward movement. Never underestimate the cumulative effect of slow progress. Slow progress is still potent progress. To maintain motivation throughout this sustained effort, you must celebrate every small win. Many people solve significant portions of a problem but fail to acknowledge their achievement, thus diminishing their own psychological reward system. Avoid this trap. You don't need a lavish celebration. A simple mental note: I did good today, I kept my commitment, is enough. This self-affirmation reinforces your sense of competence, signaling to your brain that effort yields a reward, and this resulting confidence acts as the essential fuel required to tackle the subsequent step. Finally, you must be profoundly patient with the process. Significant, life-altering change is rarely instantaneous. If your movement feels slow, recognize that slow means steady, and steady means strong and reliable. The one non-negotiable requirement is consistent perseverance. Recall the timeless metaphor: a river carves through the hardest rock not through brute force, but through the unyielding consistency of its flow over extended time. When facing a massive challenge, your objective is never to fight the whole thing simultaneously. Your job is to systematically carve it into pieces and conquer one part after another. Big problems are ultimately overcome by small, steady acts of courage. Therefore, the next time you face an obstacle, simply affirm: I do not need to solve this entirely today. I only need to take one step forward today. That singular step will reliably lead to the next, ensuring that the problem shrinks in significance while your personal capability and confidence expand until you ultimately achieve victory, the definitive method by which strong, smart, and unstoppable individuals secure success. The third transformative step in conquering any challenge is to ask better questions instead of complaining. When a difficulty arises, the typical, immediate human response is purely emotional: manifesting as anger, fear, frustration, or crippling stress. This leads to self-defeating statements like, "Why is this happening to me? My life is unfairly hard," or "Nothing I attempt ever works out." These complaints are not only unproductive but are profoundly damaging. They amplify the perceived size of the problem and simultaneously diminish your sense of personal capability. Complaining is the act of giving away your power, while smart questioning is the mechanism for reclaiming it. Truly effective individuals abandon the self-pitying narrative and instead employ strategic inquiry. They replace the limiting statement "I can't" with the empowering question, "How can I?" This singular cognitive shift is the cornerstone of proactive problem solving. Firstly, complaining acts as a blindfold on your mind. When you engage in grievance, your cognitive faculties shut down, you cease critical thinking and stop actively searching for solutions. Your entire focus fixates exclusively on the pain of the problem, diverting all energy away from the necessary answers. A fundamental law of success is that where focus goes, energy flows. If your attention is anchored to the problem's negative aspects, you will feel perpetually stuck. However, if you deliberately pivot your focus toward potential solutions, you instantly initiate forward movement. Therefore, the immediate action is to ask solution-focused questions. When confronted by a roadblock, ask your brain, "How precisely can I work around or solve this? What immediate, small action is possible right now? What resources or options are available to me, or who possesses the expertise to guide me?" These types of questions act as keys, unlocking your mental creativity and transforming the passive energy of fear into active planning. Your brain is a powerful tool, and when you feed it the right questions, it automatically begins the relentless search for relevant answers. Secondly, you must clearly delineate what you can control. Many people exhaust valuable time and emotional resources lamenting circumstances that are utterly beyond their influence. Instead of this futility, you must strategically ask, "What segment of this situation is definitively within my control?" While the external problem itself may be fixed, you always retain absolute control over your response, your actions, your learning effort, your habits, and your attitude. Even in the most dire circumstances, the choice of your own response is a power that can never be taken away. The problem may be objectively large, but your empowered mindset can always be larger. Replace the helpless "why me?" with a defiant "try me." The weak question asks, "Why is this misfortune happening to me?" The strong, growth-oriented question asks, "How can this challenge be leveraged to make me stronger?" Since life guarantees challenges, your choice is between crying over the difficulty or growing through it, complaining about the test or rising to meet it. This warrior mentality is built one "try me" at a time. Finally, effective questioning must embrace both learning and the future. Every difficulty is a profound teaching moment. Instead of dwelling on the frustration, make it a habit to ask learning questions. What vital lesson can I extract from this experience? How will navigating this issue increase my wisdom, and what mistake must I ensure I never repeat? A problem ceases to be merely a setback and becomes codified wisdom the moment you successfully learn from it. Additionally, ask future-forward questions. Do not allow yourself to become mentally paralyzed by what has already occurred in the past. Instead of agonizing over what happened, focus entirely on what happens next. Ask, where exactly do I need to go from this point? What is my absolute best next strategic move? Strong, successful individuals never dwell in yesterday's failures, they are always actively building the foundation of tomorrow. And remember, asking for help is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. When necessary, ask, who has previously solved this exact problem, and what can I learn from their successful methods? The difference between two individuals facing the identical problem, one saying I can't do this and the other asking how can I possibly do this, is the difference between stasis and victory. The one who asks the better, stronger questions will always find a way forward. Therefore, commit to this rule: Stop complaining, start questioning. The critical distinction is this: when you choose to complain, you mentally lock yourself into the same, unchanging position. Conversely, when you commit to asking empowering questions, you immediately initiate movement toward solutions. Good questions provide essential clarity, clarity fuels decisive action, and consistent action inevitably leads to success. Therefore, make a daily pact, replace the limiting phrase "I can't" with the powerful inquiry, "How can I?" and watch your life change as a result. Tip 4. Take action instead of overthinking. One of the most pervasive reasons individuals remain trapped by their problems is not due to a lack of talent or intelligence, but because of chronic overthinking. Countless people spend excessive time planning, worrying, and doubting, but they fail to execute. They become paralyzed by the hypothetical anxieties: what if I fail? What if I make a mistake, or what if the plan doesn't work? While they remain absorbed in this loop of deliberation and fear, time inexorably marches on, and the underlying problem often grows larger. It is a vital principle to grasp that thinking generates ideas, but only action creates tangible results. The most brilliant concept is entirely useless until a physical step is taken toward its realization. Overthinking provides a false sense of security but is fundamentally a major impediment. This internal rumination feels productive, like valid planning, but in reality, it is a sophisticated mechanism for delaying your life and avoiding confrontation. Overthinking breeds paralyzing fear, whereas taking action is what builds genuine confidence. When you act, you learn by doing; when you passively wait, you remain exactly the same. Every single problem immediately shrinks in difficulty the precise moment you execute the first physical step. Furthermore, you do not require a perfect plan, you need momentum. Many hesitate to start because they are waiting for an immaculate strategy, but the pursuit of perfection is a dangerous trap. There is no such thing as a perfect time or a flawless plan in the dynamic reality of life. Successful individuals refuse to wait for perfection; they launch into action with the resources they currently possess and commit to learning and adjusting along the way. The truth is, you rarely figure everything out beforehand, you figure things out while you are moving. Remember that a small, consistent action decisively beats profound, inactionable thinking. You are not required to solve the entire problem in one day. Commit only to one minor act today: a single phone call, composing one difficult email, studying one page of material, taking one necessary walk for your health, or initiating one tiny step toward your long-term goal. Success is not defined by one giant, spectacular leap; it is the culmination of countless small, deliberate steps taken daily. Crucially, we must reframe our perception of errors. Mistakes are not failure, doing nothing is the true failure. Fear of error is common, but mistakes are, in fact, powerful teachers that clearly delineate what works and what does not. The actual failure lies in never making the attempt. Adopt the mantra: I would much rather try and gather experience than remain passive and be haunted by regret. Every action, regardless of its outcome, provides you with experience, and every experience makes you incrementally smarter. To break the cycle of delay, give yourself immediate permission to start. Do not wait for an influx of confidence or a surge of courage; begin the work even if you feel scared, doubtful, or unsure. Courage, confidence, and internal strength are not prerequisites for action, they are the rewards that come after action is initiated. Movement is what builds the version of yourself you aspire to be. To overcome the brain's tendency to create excuses, utilize a technique like the 5-second rule. The moment you realize a specific action is required, immediately count down: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and move before your mind can talk you out of it. Problems are not solved by endless rumination, they are solved by consistent, even small, steps. Therefore, commit to less fear, less delay, and less what if, in favor of more action, more courage, and more visible progress. Tell yourself daily: today I act. Today I move. Today I build my future. Because the trajectory of your life changes the instant you stop overthinking and start doing. Tip 5. Learn from others and ask for guidance. It is a profound misconception that you must isolate yourself and solve every problem in absolute solitude. Wise people do not attempt to possess all knowledge, they master the ability to learn from those who already do. When you encounter a roadblock, the smart move is to look outside your own experience. In nearly every situation, someone has already walked this path, successfully solved this exact problem, or accumulated the precise experience you desperately need. Instead of wasting precious time struggling in isolation, adopt the practice of intelligent people, ask, learn, and accelerate your growth. Actively seek out guidance, speak respectfully to individuals who are wiser and more experienced than you, engage with insightful books, watch educational content, and listen attentively to mentors. Learning from the success and mistakes of others is not a sign of weakness, it is a clear indicator of strategic wisdom. A strong, humble person readily admits, "I do not know everything," and that is acceptable. My priority is to learn. Every time you absorb knowledge from an external source, you bypass common mistakes, save valuable time, and propel yourself forward much faster than you could alone. If you encounter a knowledge gap, never let shyness or pride hold you back. The pathway to solution is simple: ask, learn, and continually improve. Taking charge of your future is the final, essential culmination of the problem-solving mindset. Every time you consciously choose responsibility over blame, you fundamentally change your identity and secure control over your destiny. Remember, life does not change when you wait for circumstances to improve, it changes when you take intentional action. By consistently focusing on what you can control, your attitude, your effort, and your next step, you move from being a passive recipient of events to the active architect of your future. The choice is always yours. You can remain stuck in the past, lamenting what should have been, or you can use the present moment to build a better tomorrow. This process is not a sudden leap, but a steady accumulation of smart decisions, remaining calm, breaking problems into small pieces, asking empowering questions, acting despite fear, seeking wisdom from others, maintaining hope, and owning your response. The power to solve any problem resides not in avoiding difficulty, but in mastering the process of engaging with it responsibly and strategically, one step at a time, until you win. Ultimately, the direction of your future is not determined by luck, external people, or random chance, it is fundamentally built by the choices you make every single day. Every time you actively choose to take responsibility instead of resorting to blaming others, you lay the foundation for a successful and resilient life. Conversely, every time you choose blame, you actively weaken your future potential. The imperative is clear: choose strength, choose ownership, and choose responsibility. Life will inevitably fall short of treating you perfectly, people will disappoint you, and certain situations will feel profoundly unfair. Yet, your purpose is not to remain small or defeated, you are here to grow, and that growth commences the precise moment you declare, "No excuses, no blaming, I take complete charge of my life." Problems themselves do not define who you are, your response to them is the sole definition. If you embrace responsibility, no external force can truly halt your progress, but if you consistently blame others, everything will ultimately stop you. Become the person who stands up and says with conviction, "I will solve this. I will rise. I am fully responsible for my future." This is the immutable process by which strong, wise, and successful individuals are forged. Every single problem you encounter is not a punishment or a setback, it is a profound opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and significantly better than you were before. Challenges do not stop your journey, they serve to prepare and elevate you for the next, higher level of your life. To solidify this unstoppable mindset, consistently practice the 7 key principles we have established: stay calm when trouble arrives, break challenges down into small, manageable steps, Ask better, solution-focused questions instead of complaining, take action over debilitating overthinking, learn from others to accelerate your growth, maintain a positive mindset and fiercely protect your hope, and critically, take full responsibility, no blaming and no excuses. If you integrate these disciplines, there is genuinely no problem in this world that you cannot effectively manage and overcome. Life will continue to test you, push you, and challenge your resolve, but strong individuals do not break, they consistently rise. With every problem you solve, you increase your self-confidence, with every difficulty you face, you build mental strength, and with every refusal to quit, you build a life trajectory that others can only aspire to. So, the next time adversity appears, suppress the urge to ask, "Why me?" Instead, smile, stand tall, and declare, "I can handle this. I will find a way. I am stronger than this problem." You are not here merely to escape challenges, you are fundamentally here to master and overcome them. Problems are not designed to weaken you, they are the mechanism that makes you powerful. Remember this final, enduring truth: you do not need a life free of problems, you need a strong mind to face them. You already possess that strength within you. Use it, grow with it, and win with it, by continuing to learn, grow, and solve life's challenges one dedicated step at a time.